us about yourself. You are a world-class NLP trainer, and you're a life coach training, and you do certification and business coaching. How'd you get involved in all this?
Yeah, lots of good stuff. Lots of
Lots of
good
good
support.
stuff. Yeah.
Supporting entrepreneurs basically, and supporting people. Honestly, wow. My life's been full of, like many people, ups and downs and all arounds. I've had a great life. Also had to learn the hard way as well. From things like obesity to suicidal thoughts, anxiety, depression, being heavily bullied in public school and parts of high school too. It certainly made me resilient and gave me the ability to persevere. Growing up with ADHD back 44 years ago, no one really knew a lot about ADHD, and you were either dumb or sped or just they didn't know how to help you, even if they knew, okay, there's something needs help. Um, Fortunately, ADHD is a superpower for entrepreneurs when you can hone it, because I can laser focus and I can be in flow state for hours and hours. I can go. And that's awesome. Now, and even now, or which is why I have assistants and a team, which helps. Or back in school, if it's something we were not interested or I didn't enjoy, it was extremely hard. So back in school, it sucked. Right now, it's can be a superpower, especially when we hire, we outsource, we have other people do what we don't want to do. So, anyways, fast forward many years. I've been a serial entrepreneur for many years, had seven successful businesses, and then got in the corporate world for about 14, 15 years with IBM, with Novell, with Lenovo. So had a lot of experience, a lot of travel, meeting a lot of people all around the US and the world, which was tons of fun. Learned a lot there, made a lot of money there. Also learned, this is not the place for me. Wasn't happy, and life was even showing me. It's interesting how life talks to you. Life shows you signs. Sometimes it's smaller and quieter, and then it's bigger and bigger and bigger. So after getting laid off not once but twice in the height, like literally the height of my career, winning IBM Employee of the Year, winning for all of Canada, winning like President's Club, Awards Club, 250% of my number. Great job, James. By the way, this is your last day here. That kind of thing, just bananas. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. Didn't want to be there. And so it's just life, the universe sending me a message showing me, hey, dum wake up. This is not for you. And so then 11 years starting my own business, getting into coaching at first, even getting health coaching at first, then getting into coaching, training right after that, just because I found I love teaching people. I love to teach. And that's what I'm here to do. Love groups, love speaking. So I'm a speaker, I'm a teacher, I'm a trainer. And that's things I love to do. As you can tell, I have fun doing these as well. Love to hear myself talk. Uh, but seriously though, I love teaching. Love being in front
So
of
let me jump
people.
in here, James. So what do you think? What's the one belief or habit you had to unlearn in order to
Mm.
achieve the level of success and the impact that you have today?
My goodness, Gary, there wasn't just one. There was lots and lots and lots.
Sure, but
I
there's always
think,
this pivotal thing that shifts, right?
yeah, yeah.
I think there's this moment that goes, "Hey, I'm on a new trajectory." What was that for you?
I guess that there was probably two big ones. One was it, like, follow my heart, follow my intuition. None of this,
Mm,
I shouldn't, or get a good job, get a stable job, make, X and Y, Z proud. And all the programming from life of you have to, you can, can't, should, shouldn't. This is bad, this is good. Being a basket weaver isn't a good job, or isn't a what, you can't make money doing that, or you have to be a lawyer or a doctor or engineer, or all this BS. Can we swear on your show? All this BS.
mhm.
That's out there, and ridding myself of that and being like, okay, I'm not happy. I'm making great money. I'm freaking miserable. I don't want to do this anymore, even from another 30 days, let alone 30 years. Like, kill me now. And I was there. So that was the pivotal thing. It's like, you know what? I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do what's good or bad or otherwise. I'm gonna go out there and do whatever the frick I want,
Mhm.
because, like, part of me doesn't even want to be here anymore. So it's like,
Got it.
I'm gonna
So
I'm
essentially
gonna
connecting
go
with
out.
your purpose, your true purpose, and following that. Got
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It was
That's
it was
great. That's
huge.
great. Hmm.
And I thought, you know what? Exactly. I thought this is gonna be a life unlived, if at all. if I keep doing this. So something's going to change, something's going to shift. Like I said, I've always known I want to help people, always known I want to make a difference. I love teaching people, always have in certain ways, different ways. So that was the instant. Okay. Coach. And then very quickly, I'm like, I like teaching better. So trainer, and, of course I do some coaching now too, but just moving into being a trainer, learning NLP, being an NLP trainer, being a master trainer apprentice as well, of a whole bunch of tools, led me to be able to teach and certify and internationally accredit coaches, in some amazing tools, but also using a lot of these tools to help business owners, based on a lot of training and experience, but also using a lot of these tools to look up here for business owners. Yes, let's look at your strategy, your organization, how you've built your company, because it's like burning you out or killing you, or just making you not happy because of the lack of freedom. But let's look up here as well to that very same, I should, I shouldn't, I can, I can't, this is good, this is bad, or for heaven forbid, people pleasing, which most of us try to do, trying to make ourselves look good, to make people like us, because of whatever the deeper stuff. So that's what got it, because that's where I was too. I had to work on all that stuff, and it's a journey. So really looking at the mindset of the business person too. That's for sure.
So I noticed that on your LinkedIn, you talk about working with a lot of teams. So are a majority of your clients, businesses where you're trying to reintegrate their teams together, or what kind of specialty are you focusing on?
Yeah, I'm not necessarily. I mean, I do speak for the corporate world as well. So whether it's a business that's one employee, 3, 10, 15, 12, 40,000,
Sure.
working and spoken at all levels. It's really to get the leaders, get the mind right of the leaders as well, and looking at where can I step in, excuse me, where can I step into my greatest influence, my greatest power, if you will, and engage people, engage clients, engage your team, engage yourself, and just stop everyone, including yourself, from being disengaged, and everything that comes with that. But really helping them master themselves. It starts with that honest, and then they can lead other people, whether it's clients, whether it's 2 people or 1 VA, or whether it's 10 people, 20, 1,000 people.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you coach from the top down or from the bottom up?
Good question. I would say where it's needed, I prefer top down, because when working with a leader, you can cascade down all kinds of massive changes very quickly, very easily, because the leader changes. You're steering the boat in a whole different direction.
Right.
You're gonna have big changes, and fast, and plus everyone listens to the leader, versus if you're coaching people at the bottom, not all leadership will listen. So if it's coming top down, usually people will listen, because it's seen as an authority, and if not, you get fired. So, but seriously though, I find I love leaders. And I think, of course, everyone's a leader, but I do love working with leaders. It lights me up to no end.
Yes. What are some of the biggest challenges that you've run into while dealing with leaders? I mean, for example, I know in my experience, they have the idea that yes, some changes need to be made, and then you step in and start to show them different ideas, some different ways of thinking, and yet they still want to just kind of keep going back to the old habits, the familiarity. So how do you deal with that, or the ego?
Fair, and which illustrates our point earlier, as well, that a lot of people like to stay comfortable, like to be comfortable,
Right.
Especially if there's not a lot of clarity, especially if there's not a lot of reinforcement. I mean, there's that forgetting curve that basically looks like a ski slope. If you don't reinforce things, it just the remembering and forgetting just drops. So a lot of it is coaching, often in groups as well, and group conversations, constant reinforcement, and making sure we look at this thing versus just, okay, this is the new change, or this is the new direction, or this is the new software, or whatever. Making sure people are clear at what's in it for them with them, right? People will listen when they know what's in it for them.
Yeah.
People will be engaged when they contribute to it. They contribute to the new model, new system, new customer, new product, new new process, new whatever. So it's making sure everyone's engaged, and not only teaching to leadership, but also teaching leadership to engage them in the process, or teaching the teams while I'm teaching and training and speaking for the leaders as well. Having it a togetherness thing, and that way it's not, us versus them, leadership versus teams. It is just us. I think that can let a lot of ego go as well, because it's not, well, them and us. It is us. One thing too, like I said, reinforcement as well, looking at people's mindsets, and again, with them, what's in it for them, how can they benefit as well. I had one last one for you, and I am forgetting. Oh, it's just to appeal to the ego. There's a good book called Switch, with Dan and Chip Heath, a couple of Harvard researchers, and they
Right.
talk about how to create change, and they have their various metaphors, which we won't get into for time. But basically, you have to look at the ego, look at the ego, look at the mindset, fears, worries, and then of course, shape the environment. Make sure that the environment basically guarantees success and prevents failure, air quotes. And so helping leaders and teams set up that environment, that way it's automatic, because you're right, people, if not, people will go back and default to what's comfortable all the time, every single time, no matter how much they want to change or not. So again, setting up the environment, success, dealing with the mindset, fears, worries, limiting beliefs, what if, and yes, dealing of course with the ego, which can be can be one of the most challenging, but also it can also be one of the easiest if you appeal to it as well. And like I said, get buy-in, get everyone to contribute, having it as us versus us, them, and everyone knowing that they're all leaders. They're a team. There's not anyone above you type thing. But again, there's a whole myriad of ways. But that's some of the stuff that gets in the way. And again, sometimes there's a lot of A players, and sometimes there's a lot of Z players, and sometimes it involves seeing who the Z players are, and sometimes they got to go, or at least if they're not doing something they love, either in that company or outward, sometimes either reassigning them to something they love, or say you need to go find and do something you love, because this is not it, and have them go do it. I want them to go do it as well. We don't want them in an environment that they don't love, whether it's one or two or three people working for a small company, or whether it's thousands of people working for a big company.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And it sounds like you've, oh, go ahead, Gary.
Yeah. So with that kind of resistance in the corporate environment,
Yeah.
what kind of strategies, like what's your methodology of going, what strategies do you to help the teams and the leaders actually embrace the new training programs or the shift in company culture? Because again, that reverting back to what they're comfortable with individually as well as group wise, you've got to deal on both of those platforms. So how do you turn those skeptics into advocates? What's
Good question.
Fair enough. It's a great question. There's a variety of principles of influence that I teach. Some of them come from Robert Cialdini's work, some come from my own work and research too. And it's really how to influence and keep influencing authentically and ethically the people on your teams, and of course clients as well, but to be able to influence them and keep influencing them, and have them respect you, love you, revere you, so that they genuinely want to grow and change, and really half of it's for you, half it's for them, but half of it's for you too, because they revere you so much. And I've been there. I've had good leaders, bad leaders back in the corporate world. Sure. And yes, we will go above and beyond and do our best, even if we don't want to, for a great leader. And we will people will drag their feet, and I did, for crappy leaders or things they don't want to, or crappy leaders telling them to do things they don't want to. So that's one thing to do. Just training these leaders to become highly influential and communicate effectively and reach everyone, because there's different learning styles, different communication styles. So that alone needs to be looked at, because if you're speaking a different language to someone, metaphorically speaking, it's not going to work. They're not going to hear you. The other thing too, great question, Gary, to make sure, like I said, people don't fall back is that constant support, the constant reinforcement, not a one and done, helping reinforce the leader, helping reinforce the team, whether it's a team of 2 or a team of 2,000 or 20,000.
Sure.
And we do it often in group calls, so it's efficient as well. And again, if people need some one-on-one stuff, we can arrange for that as well. But really, it's having leadership calls, having team calls, having leadership and team calls, And not just, okay, here's a bunch of stuff here, remember this stuff. It's like, hey, Gary, what was a win today based on the new thing? Or Ross, how did the new system work for you? Jane, what do you, any challenges you're seeing with a new program? Or how are, Sheila, how are customers responding to the new process, the new program, the new thing, good, bad, otherwise, what's working, what's not working? Because then you have some active participation. Not, okay, guys, remember this. Okay, now remember this again. Okay, now it's Wednesday. Remember this. Remember, you have to do this. This is the new process. You get that engagement and the ownership too of people giving feedback and contributing, which will keep them engaged and again take them and help them.
Which you're kind of leaning towards metrics, right? So that leads to the other question. So because
Somewhat.
companies struggle, I think, anyways, from my experience, they tend to struggle with quantifying the ROI of training programs, personal development, blah blah blah,
Fair,
right?
fair.
So how do you work with them to measure the success of the corporate training, and specific metrics or indicators that you focus on to show that, hey, there's something, and there's something worth keeping.
Fair. And it's a great question, and it's candidly, I'm not the greatest at helping them figure out the metrics as well. I'm a teacher. I'm less a tech and logical, more a right brain creative teacher, concepts guy. That being said, yes, it's like, what are your metrics here?
Yeah.
And I can suggest a few to you that may help in this environment. But a lot of it is, is it revenue? Is it productivity? Is it engagement? Is it less sick days? Is it people that are doing more and going above and beyond? Now that's a very very quantitative. Qualitative measurement, some of those, but you can get qualitative. I mean, is revenue up or down? Is productivity up or down? Are people doing more or less, button pushing than they were before? You can do employee surveys are great. Now, yes, it can be, I mean, I guess, half qualitative, half quantitative, but surveys are good.
Yeah.
Questionnaires, feedback are good too. Looking at, are you happier? Are you not? Are you more productive? Or are you not? Is this working better? Is this not? Are the leaders better? Are they not? So you can, again, they are good. They are good for feedback as well. Nothing's perfect, I don't think, especially when it's something a bit intangible, like, hey, did this new software, save X amount of jobs or save X amount of hours versus, well, okay, this is training, development. It's harder than installing a piece of software or cutting to employees. Okay, we saved 100K.
Right. So are you utilizing like because NLP, I mean, we both have NLP background, so all of us do. Are you using like well-formed outcome with them when you go in there and kind of getting so that they have those clarity and you have that clarity and set that precedent?
It's a great question. Excuse me. I'm getting or being sick. Yes, great question. Looking at, keys to achievable outcomes. What are good goals? Well-formed goals, well-formed outcomes versus let's make more money. All right, that's not a very great goal. It's a great idea, but not a very good goal that's going to work. So to your point, yes, it's like what specific and measurable goals, however we measure them, we'll figure that out. What specific, I guess, going back to SMART, which is, obviously sometimes beaten like a dead horse, but having SMART, specific measurable goals that are, and I'll take it further, that are aligned with company culture, because not all goals are, and making sure people and teams are aligned with company culture as well will help all of that. And looking at what is the vision of the leaders? Are all the leaders aligned? Are the employees even remotely aligned with this vision? Are they on board? Are they not on board? But yes, using, I mean, there's many tools. I love NLP. It's incredible. But even one of the biggest uses for the tools I have, including NLP, is really helping leaders break free from fear, from worry, from self-doubt, break free from the fear of looking bad, or what would people think about me if I did this or didn't do that? What would the higher ups think about me? I mean, you don't want to obviously piss everyone off.
So are you doing one-on-one with them on those things too?
Someone wants some group stuff, yeah, because a lot of stuff I've done this long. I find it fairly easy to do in groups and small groups too. But yeah, there's some one-on-one too. Again, I prefer to teach and train and give tools as well, or at least have them think differently and change the thinking. But yeah, there's some one-on-one involved, and I found that there's ways to do it in groups, which is good too.
How often do you find that the unalignment, is it unalignment, disalignment,
Disalignment,
is
unalignment.
how prevalent is that with a lot of your clients?
It's fairly common. In fact, even with everyone, entrepreneurs, even with people, even myself, years ago, needing to realign what I did several times with my business,
Hmm.
because business changes, I change, people change, the life and environment changes. It can be a challenge because the only constant is change, and things are always changing. So it can be a challenge, especially with a lot of the hiring and firing that goes on in corporate North America too. Sometimes you're getting rid of people that have it's the same alignment, and hiring new people. Yes, you're maybe saving money or whatever you're doing with the hiring and firing. But you can lose a lot of the vision alignment, a lot of the cultural alignment with people too. So it can be a challenge. Um, Again, whether it's one person and just making sure we get realigned. Okay, what is the vision? Does this change? Does it need to change? Is this vision working
Uh,
anymore? Does it need,
hmm.
if is it what y'all want anymore anyways? Have you changed? Because people change and we change. I've changed as well, and people grow. And it's like, well, I don't want a business anymore that kills me, even though I'm making lots of money. I want more life. I want more play, more freedom, more fun, kind of thing. In the eyes of an entrepreneur, obviously, in the corporate environment, it might be a
Hmm.
little different. Um, but they might want to, things to happen easier or influence better, faster, easier, so they can work less or get more effectiveness. I did answer your question. I'm not sure I
Yeah.
fully. Okay, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So and I think going back to what you just said, as far as people, entrepreneurs wanting to, work less, still be just as efficient, still make just as much money or more.
Mhm.
But you said that it's different in the corporate world, but aren't those values the same no matter what you're doing?
Fair. You frame it a very good point, and yes, it's how they look at it are a little different, or
Hmm.
their specifics of those values of the vision. Yes, a little different. To your point, though, let's make more money. Let's have more fun.
Right. Right.
And let's have more free time. So yeah, that
Hmm.
yes, those values. How we specifically go about getting them is different, obviously. But yes, those would
Right.
be generally people want more fun and more money. Yeah, that's pretty human
Hmm.
nature. Unless,
Right.
unless someone just, I mean, some people literally live to work. I
Sure.
would argue that maybe they need an upgrade. I think life is more. I think personally, life is more than that. If they're happy, truly happy, living to work, okay, great. But I think again, humans need relationships. We need connection. We need some fun. We need a balance. I think everyone needs a
Hmm.
balance. So anyway, I just
Right.
as a side note, I think maybe some people work to live, but like you said, I think we all want more time, more fun, more money.
Right. But we also find ourselves working ourselves into an early grave. I mean,
Yeah, correct.
from my personal experience, and maybe similar to yours, is that, I was in corporate management for a long, long time. And I got to that point where my what I was doing and the time that I was spending doing it was
Yeah,
no longer aligned with my values. And I'm
fair,
like,
fair,
this isn't just not working for me.
fair, fair.
And I found that, I thought, okay, well, let me see if I can change the the mindset of the corporation. And they're just like, oh God, no. And it's like, no, 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 no. No, we want to run you into the ground, and trying to get them to
Fair, fair,
understand that, like, listen, and I don't mean just me, I'm talking about
fair,
the
fair,
management of the company. I'm like,
fair, fair.
people are not being nearly as efficient as they could be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think on average, I think 7.5, 8 hour days, you have, I think it's 3.5 hours of actual
Right,
productivity from on average
right.
for people. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. It's did I miss your question about that? Ask me
No,
that
no,
question
you're
again.
no, that's you're good. So did you have that, was that part of, you had said in the beginning of the interview that you had learned a lot of earlier lessons in your own life, and was that one of them?
It is, especially when it came to being an entrepreneur. You
Hmm.
have to be, unless you want to work your life away, and that's not why we become entrepreneurs.
Right.
Yeah, you have to become more efficient. It was a bit of a challenge for me, again, with a bit of ADHD too, learning to focus and not get distracted. But I mean, I think everyone's ADHDing, air quotes, these days, and needs to learn how to focus, flow state, minimize distractions. Set your environment up to basically guarantee success. No TV in
Hmm.
the office, even when you're working, if you can't control it, this thing should at
Uh,
least be on airplane mode across the room, if not outside the room. Um,
Exactly.
all alerts off, email alerts. Oh my God. I tell people never, ever, ever have email alerts on visual
Right,
or auditory, even that little 5, 10, the little icon, 10, 50 unread emails, 20,
right,
all that goes off because
right,
I mean, email actually is someone else's priorities. Otherwise they'd call you if it was really important.
correct.
Email is just other people's priorities. And so I think that should not be a distraction from the focus of getting done what the most important things done are that day. I mean, yes, check emails once in a while, have your assistant monitor for emergencies. Again, check once in a while for emergencies, or tell people if it's an emergency, call me. If it's an
Right.
emergency, call me. Um, I don't know why people email in emergencies. Email is not a medium for emergencies. But anyways, I
Yeah.
digress.
Well, and it seems also like I just got a new phone a couple of months ago,
Mhm.
and I'm the one that the kind of person that I use technology until they literally will just send you a message and say, "Hey, dude, you know, get out of the Stone Age. You've got to get, you got to do this. We're not going to update you anymore. We're done. We're
Oh, that's
done.
funny.
You have to buy a new one." So anyhow, but when I was setting the whole thing up, I was because I never have notifications on.
Hmm.
But it seems nowadays, all the apps and all the platforms as such is like, no, you have to have
By
notifications
default or something. Yeah.
by default. And then you turn them off. Are you sure you really want to turn this off? It's like,
Yes,
yes,
I'm
I am. Are
sure.
you really sure that you, and I'm just like, wow, I says, this is so, it's inundated now.
It
And I
is.
don't have any notifications on at
Agreed.
all. This is because it's just, as you said, it is simply a distraction from,
It,
your focus, no matter what you're doing.
it is. Yeah. And the apps are designed, and all this is designed to do that. I mean, it's not
Correct.
by accident. It's designed to do that. Oh, you better get back on Facebook or get back to whatever. Get
Yeah.
back on, uh,
Right.
your friends are there, or you're there, whatever. And, Facebook misses you, or Instagram, Snapchat misses you, whatever it is.
Hmm.
I agree. We have to be so diligent, and again, we need to. I say we need to set up the environment so it guarantees success, again, including alerts off, but not just that. Your
That's a
desk
good idea.
environment, everything. Set your environment up success. Um, you know, you know, or I guess motivate the ego. Motivate the ego with some great rewards and some consequences too, but also you know um inspire the person themselves to be engaged as well. Again, a lot of tools we can do that. A lot of my keynotes we do that. A lot of the tools we do that, whether it's group teaching or one-on-one stuff. It's those three things. It's environment. It's kind of the ego and the subconscious, or the elephant, if you will,
Hmm.
because it's a bigger part of our brain. And then there's the rider, as they refer to it in Switch, and as I often say too. It's like you're riding an elephant. Motivate. Motivate and I guess, yeah, motivate and direct the rider, the little human on
Right.
top of this big elephant. It takes a few things for sure, and because especially with distraction these days, and I guess it takes also alignment, I would say too, of vision, because the less you like something, the less you don't want to do it, the easier it is, and even wanting to be distracted. This is boring. I've done it
Right.
half an hour of work. I need nuts to this. I'm going to go on and whatever. No wonder people are so distracted like before, because I think they're not treated like human. People are treated like not even cattle, numbers these days. And again, I've been hired and fired
Yeah.
multiple times, and that
Right.
that will just kill all. It's not just within a company, but that culture has killed most loyalty and motivation. And now it's just to the almighty buck.
Totally.
If someone can make more money, they're
Yeah.
gone.
Yep.
Yep.
Usually, unless you're a kick-ass, charismatic, influential leader, which is what I help leaders become.
Nice.
That way, they have people stay on despite recruiters hiring more money. They have
Hmm.
people engaging and giving their best, and going above and beyond and wanting to learn more, contribute more, just like I did for a couple of managers. Hugh was one of them. Hugh was the best manager I've ever had by far. I've had some amazing managers. I've had some not so amazing managers. And Hugh, I just wanted to give so much for. I was less distracted, more engaged. So that's why, to your point, your question earlier, do you prefer lead bottom up, top down? I love working with leaders, because if leaders can be awesome, awesome leaders, and not just bosses, not just managers, not just directors, or heaven forbid, micromanagers,
Hmm.
and if they can be amazing, then the people are way more engaged, and they don't want to be distracted. They want to be engaged.
Right.
So I think that's a big part of it too.
All right.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I still have um, past employees from previous businesses from like 15, 16, 18 years ago who still hit me up and, hey, are you doing anything? Do you need anyone to work? Like, I mean, you
Beautiful.
know,
And there you go. There exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it happens a lot, where people like,
yeah.
saying, I still remember you, James. I'm like, that's awesome. Or you changed my life, or you saved my life, or you did this or that, or, it's pretty amazing. And you never know. You never know. I've had a couple friends that have unfortunately not seen the light like I have after the depression, and they're not here anymore. And I've had some amazing managers, amazing people, and the reason I'm still here. And to you, Gary, too, like you said, people, you never know. You never know whose life you may save with just a smile or a compliment or a thought, or just being an amazing leader, amazing manager to them. Because business problems are just personal problems in disguise. And
Yeah, I've always been an advocate of, like, because
yeah, yeah,
when I do business consulting, one of the first things I tell clients is that your level of success in your business is going to be a direct reflection of level of work that you do on yourself.
Yeah.
yes,
And
yes, yes,
and they got to wrap their heads around that because no,
it's true. You're like,
the level is going
what?
to be, yeah.
Yeah, this is different. How is it?
You
But
mean it's not getting more leads? You mean it's not increasing my sales? No, it's
and to your point, working on yourself will automatically get you more leads and help your sales
absolutely,
convert
Exactly.
automatically
yeah,
better anyways. So yeah, but you're right. A lot of
absolutely,
people
yeah,
don't connect that. No, I just need other people say, no, James, I think I'll spend the money on more leads. Let's get more leads.
right.
That you're going to screw up and people are going to run like hell anyways. Why would you spend money on more leads when you haven't
I'm
fixed
going
the
to
actual
increase
problem?
my SEO so more people get to my website. Okay, but it's, there's a
And call me
disconnect
to waste your
happening
time
here.
because no one converts. Exactly, exactly.
But don't we all find that that is such a commonality to where um, people are always looking out for the answer and not in?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, almost always.
It's like, oh, it's that. It's the way that,
Correct.
it's the sign out front, or it's the color of the office, or
Yeah.
it's the carpeting, or it's the uniforms that we're wearing, or it's
Yeah,
the
People don't
marketing
take
that we're doing.
responsibility. They don't
It's
take accountability, right? They're not people don't. We're
exactly.
exactly.
not. The society is not taught accountability, right?
And
It's point
yeah,
everywhere and
that's
blame
my point. Yeah,
everywhere. Yeah.
they're almost built that way, and it's
Correct.
just
Yeah.
like, why? And we look at it, I look at it a lot, and I look at, when I go into companies looking at that culture, it's just like, okay, are you looking out culture, or are you looking in culture?
Exactly. And because you're right, you want to change the outside, change the inside. You
Hmm.
point a finger and you have, as the saying goes, you have three pointing back at you. And blame, shame, guilt, grief. I suck, or they suck. It doesn't, whether you point out or blaming, it does nothing other than keeping in victim mode. But to
Right.
your point, looking in, yes, looking in without
Mhm.
judgment and what needs to shift.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to talk when I go in and do my keynotes and workshops is it's taking responsibility, and that true leadership is taking full responsibility, whatever leadership role you're in, or again, you're a regular leader.
Hmm.
It's taking responsibility for what you want to have happen, even if it's not your responsibility, not seen as your responsibility. I mean, that's why some of these CEOs, was it GE? I think one of the GE CEOs went around and he cleared up because obviously we're a world-class company, but we don't have a world-class office. There's clutter and stuff around. He's like went around tidying up every morning, cluttered, putting stuff in the garbage and grabbing crap from people's desks and putting in the garbage. And people like, oh my gosh, if the leader is doing this, holy moly, the leader is doing this. Wow, maybe we should actually take note. We should do this too, because he's taking
Right.
responsibility. He's not the janitor. He's the opposite, but he's doing it. So it's going in, and I love teaching that theme of taking responsibility, not blame, not grief, but taking responsibility for anything that you want to have happen in life, in the world, whatever it is, we used to work, actually, one of my roles in a beautiful old historical building, big old brick building built, I don't know, hundreds of years ago. And then we had these cool glass offices inside it. But being an old building, a lot of cold air in the winter poured through. I'm in my chair freezing because there's cold air pouring through the bricks. So one day I could complain, I could bitch or complain or whine or I hate this, or say, move, you need to move me, or whatever. Or I could just bring in a can of spray foam one day and I'm like, let me go around and it took a spot, and it was perfect. My seat by the window is now, because I didn't want to move from the window. Perfect. And it's a very small, mundane example, But an example of taking responsibility for what you want to have
Mm-hmm.
happen, just like the CEO and cleaning up litter and clutter, or me with the spray foam. And there's many, many examples. The CEOs get down in a suit and dress shoes and show some company people how to dig because they were hurting their backs and dig. He's like, nuts to this. I'll show you how to do it, how we did it in the old days. He gets down, dress
Right.
shoot, $1,000 outfit, gets down in the mud, and he's literally digging the mud, showing them this is how you do it to avoid wrecking your
Mm-hmm.
back. So I think, yeah, it's taking responsibility as well. And when I go in and teaching teams and leaders, all of them, no matter what level, to take full responsibility and ownership, have ownership. Leaders love that because everyone
Right.
takes ownership. And you're right. There's not that, not that attitude, that blame, oh, it's this, or that's the problem. It's not me, it's them, it's they, it's she, it's the environment, it's the whatever. You actually create results, and you have people, they get more out of it. They're more rewarded. Stuff happens, and you have employees that are engaged and awesome. So I love teaching that taking complete ownership and treating something like you own it versus like you rent it, because
Yeah.
you can treat it like crap if you rent it. If you own it, you're gonna give it, you can pay attention, you give it your best.
Isn't that the truth? That's for sure. Well, James, we're getting down to the wire here. Tell people how they can get a hold of you and about the services that you provide, and what's the best way to find out more about you
Great question. Great question. So I guess one
besides
of the best ways.
besides our interviews.
That's right. Right on. Right on. Right on. Right on. I guess one of the best ways is just looking at for me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, even YouTube if you want, and Instagram, depending what your thing is. James R for Robert, Elliot with one T. I'm the Scottish Elliot, so Elliot. So James R. Elliot. You'll find me pretty much everywhere there: LinkedIn, Facebook, and like I said, James R. Elliot 99 on YouTube as well. A couple of different websites depending what people are looking for. For entrepreneurs, the best one's probably limitless-entrepreneur.com. For corporate folks, it's probably more unleashyourpower.com, including NLP training, coach training, tools training, and leadership training, and my speaking. But again, honestly, reach out, LinkedIn, DM me, LinkedIn, Facebook, James R. Elliott could be one of the best ways to connect.
And I'll put all those links to those in the comments. Gary, anything else from you?
That's all. Yeah.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
James,
This was
thank you
fun.
so
Thank you,
very
gentlemen.
much.
This was awesome.
Yeah. You too.
All right. And that is a wrap.
All right.